Hey. So, I'm going to go ahead and do this video because this topic has been coming up for a little bit now. And it came to me a couple of weeks ago. Sometimes when I'm sitting in church, I'll just be listening to Pastor, and then these topics come to my mind. Some God's given me a while back ago, or some just, He can say one word and it makes me think about something, and I just jot it down, whatever I'm thinking of at that time. And so this one particular thing is, what is pouring into you and what are you pouring out to others? Because I don't think that we realize how powerful our mind is. I will tell y'all all day long, the space between my two ears is the scariest place to be, because it is a constant struggle between what you feel and what you know. And not all the time what you know is true. And not all the time what you feel is right. So, I was with some friends tonight, and we hadn't been together for a while. And it was just a very good time of refreshing. And I needed it so much. And these women needed it too. And it was just so good to get together and hang out and just talk. Because in one of my businesses, I'm going through some things. And it was so cool because a couple of the walls that I've been hitting, they've been hitting too. And it's so amazing when you get together with people that, when you're away from them and you're not talking about the things maybe you struggled with or the things that you've come across recently, it's amazing how alone you can feel. And then when you're around people that are going through the same thing that you're going through, because they're in the same thing that you're in, you know, you find out how normal you are. And then you realize it's not as bad as you thought that it was. So these women know who they were, and I'm very grateful for them. But I just wanted to, I guess, encourage you is to be careful who you are allowing to pour into you. Because you're usually taking what's being poured into you and pouring out to others. So whether or not it's good, whether or not it's bad. For me, I have to have my time with God. Whether or not I'm praying throughout my day. I mean, and it's big things and it's little things. And I pulled up to traffic and there is a clear way and I can go without having to wait. Thank you, Lord, for making a way. Or it can be a friend messaged me about her daughter having to go to the ER tonight, and I'm going to stop and I'm going to pray for them. Whether or not it's waking up and praying for my family to have an amazing day, to be safe and come home. I need that time with Jesus. I need that time with Him to refresh me and to make me a better person, because Amber, on her own abilities, is ugly and snotty, and a lot of y'all can vouch, and short-tempered. But with God, I have more peace. And it's so funny because both of the professions that I'm in a lot of areas of my life, and I think anybody, you're constantly pouring into people. You're pouring into your customers and your clients, and you're pouring into your families and your friends. And when you get to a place that you've done so much pouring into, but you've not taken the time to be refreshed yourself, then you're running on fumes. There's a chance that you're getting bitter, that you're getting angry because you haven't had time to stop. And so it's so cool, because the one thing that God showed me one time, I was praying and I was like getting overwhelmed, because there's so many things you hear people go through, and you want to help them, and you want to be there for them, and you want to take away their pain and their hurt, and you can't. But the one thing that you can do is not carry their burdens as your own, but carry them to Christ. And in this time I was praying and I was asking God, and I was like, God, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I hurt for these people. I hurt for these stories that I hear of what people are going through. Like, what do I do? And he had reminded me that your job is to come to me and give it to me. And when you empty yourself out before Christ and you tell him, God, this is what I'm carrying. This is what I'm carrying. I can't do it anymore. Please take it. Like, you leave it at his feet. And when you empty yourself of yourself and the things that you've been carrying, it is then that he can pour into you and he can refresh you and he can fill you with such a love and a peace so that you can go back out and pour that out to others. But if you're not pouring out to him and you're just harboring and you're carrying, your cup is getting full and there's going to be no more room for him. There's going to be no more room for growth. And so I just wanted to encourage someone today that whatever it is you're carrying, empty it out and give it to Christ. Tell him it's too heavy. You know, it's amazing that so many people think that their life's going to get easier when they say yes to Christ and they ask him to come into their heart and be the Lord and Savior of their life. They think, oh, all of a sudden my worries are going to go away. I bet to say if you ask anybody who did that they would tell you that their life got harder because you're more aware of the right and the wrong. You're more aware of the world around you, and it makes it more difficult. But he didn't promise that life would be easier. But the way that I always view it is that now you have a friend to go through life with. And when you go through life with somebody, you become stronger. You know, I don't know. It's just friendship and accountability is so important in this life. And when you do not seclude yourself and you open yourself up, whether or not it's one friend, whether or not it's 3 friends, I would suggest not too many. When you open yourself up and you allow somebody to speak into your life positively, to encourage you when maybe you don't feel like you're encourageable, maybe to correct you when you may be wrong, you can grow in those moments and become better than you were than when you went through them. But I don't know. I guess I was just sitting there thinking, like, just be aware of what's pouring into you. Who is pouring into you? Is it positive or is it negative? Because a lot of times what goes in must come out. And so, I don't know. I just, left my friends tonight thinking, man, I've missed that. Man, I have missed just hanging out and talking and realizing there are women going through what I'm going through. And I'm normal. And the one thing that we talked about in those moments, that realizing we all have the same struggles and we all have the same obstacles, we also all believe that God is going to get us through them. That God is already taking care of the finished product. That God is already on the other side calling us to him, saying, don't give up. Don't quit. Don't back down. It may not look like you want it to, but I see the end result and it's beautiful. But a lot of times, our victories are waiting on the other side of our obstacle. So are you going to let it defeat you, or are you going to let it persevere you? And a lot of times the way we get through those obstacles is with people. So what are you allowing to be poured into you? And what are you pouring into others? Be mindful of that. Be cautious. It's my word for the day. Y'all have a good night.